Oh hey, welcome to another video for TCG HQ. My name's Tamao and I have something really interesting for you, something really cool. I'm going to be going through a Mega Scizor deck list that three of us from our team piloted, me, Luke and Alex. And Luke and Alex actually made top 8 with this recent regionals at Liverpool with. And sure, it's Mega Scizor, it sounds boring, but I assure you, you have never seen a list like this before for Scizor, so I definitely recommend you checking this out. Unfortunately, I didn't make cut of it. I had a bit of an unlucky run with getting a game loss for making my deck list incorrect, and to be honest, Luke or Alex really could have taken down this tournament, and they were unlucky not to. Alex had a similar problem with his deck list in top 8, and got a game loss against Gardevoir, and he lost that because of that, and Luke was unlucky not to beat Mega Ray, and in which if he did, he would have been against a Gardevoir in top 4 and a Gardevoir in the final. So this deck definitely had the potential to take the tournament down, and we were really proud of the list. That we kind of made it up on the car journey on the way up, which is a whole nother story. But I was actually going into this tournament planning to play Dark Tina, but we stumbled on this list and we both thought we'd go for it. So without further ado, I will lead you into the list. Alright, so here we have the list. A couple of things might stand out straight away, but we'll take it in a reasonable order. So first we have the 3-3 Scizor line. So this is our main attacker of the deck. We'll have a look at its attack. This is the reason why we are using this card. A 2 Metal Energy attack, 120, which is sometimes a good number, sometimes a really bad number, but it will 2-hit KO anything in the format other than Wailord, and it will 1-hit KO Shamans, which is cool. You also get to discard a special energy or a stadium card in play, so a special energy attached to your opponent's active. This can be really cool. So a lot of decks use either double dragon energy or double colorless energy these days, and this really limits a lot of decks' ability to pump out attacks frequently, and a lot of decks rely on the stadium, to be honest, as well. So if people are using Parallel City on you, or even things like Rough Seas or Skyfield, you can really negate a lot of things with this attack. It's a really cool attack, and it's solid as well. 220 HP and resistance to Psychic is just not a bad resistance. The fire weakness is not great in this format, so you kind of have to predict a format where Volcanion won't be hugely popular, and that's kind of what we were banking on for this tournament. We thought a lot of people would be scared off by the fact that Volcanion didn't have a really good showing in the standard regionals in America, and on top of that, a lot of decks are playing Garbodor, so we felt we'd try and capitalize on that, but we have some backup plans in this deck to try and beat Volcanion should we come up against them. So next, it's a standard 1 Hooper 3 Shaman line. You can go down to 2 Shaman. Luke personally went down to 2 Shaman, and he upped the trainer's mail count to 4. I personally preferred to go for the 3 Shaman route because I wanted a more explosive turn 1, and you'll see why later on in the deck list. And finally, for Pokemon, we have this 1-1 Golbat line. So this may seem really weird, but this is for very good reason. So me and Luke both agreed, but we don't like using our supporter for the turn to knock out a Yveltal, a baby Yveltal, a Frightenite Yveltal, things like that, even a baby Volcanion. We don't want to use Giovanni's for that extra 20 damage. That's pretty much the only damage modifier in this game. Instead, we thought we'd put a 1-1 Golbat line in, because not only does this do the extra 20 or 10 damage that you need to knock out those 130 HP Pokemon in one hit, it's got some few other cool tricks with it as well. So it has free retreat, which means that you can Olympia into Golbat and go straight back into the Pokemon for just a 30 HP heal, or to remove any special conditions that you might have on your Mega Scizor. Another cool thing is its attack will set up a whole field of 130 HP Pokemon down to 120 HP in one hit. So you do 10 damage to everything with this Pokemon, and that's just perfect, because otherwise you're going to be having to 2-hit KO 130 HP Pokemon all game. And thirdly, it's a 1-prize Pokemon, and you're not going to... Having a 1-prize Pokemon in your deck is very advantageous because it makes your ends more powerful later on in the game. On top of that, Zubat also has an attack where you can just do 10 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, and that sets it all up as well, and that's perfect. So even the Zubat will come in handy in some games. And I will tell you right now that I attacked with Supercross a lot across the tournament. I've taken knockouts with Supercross as well on even Pokemon with Fighting Fury Belt. So EXs, 180 HP EXs with Fighting Fury Belt on, you do 120 damage to them. They Olympia, they go down to 90, and your 120 can only take them up to 210 HP. Supercross does 10 damage to them, knocked out in 2 hits again. So it's a really handy Pokemon to have, very versatile, and people may think, oh, I can just drop this card for Giovanni and then I have an extra space. But it's really not the case. It's a lot more useful than it looks, and it's part of the reason why we did so well, I think. So next we'll go on to the supporters next. We'll do this in a sensible fashion. So we have 4 Sycamore. It's the best supporter for this deck. We just want to burn through it. And we also have 1N. We kind of flirted with 2N, but we found that there's another part of the deck that we'll go into further on that didn't really like the N part, so we cut it down to 1. We have 2 Lysander. Lysander is so important in the Yveltal or Dark Tina matchup because you want to be hitting anything that they invest energy on, just so that you don't have to sit there taking 2 hits from them, basically. So they usually just pump up something forward that isn't doing too much damage early on in the game and building stuff up behind it, but you can just Lysander, knock off DCs or double dragons, and that'll be fantastic, and that's how you basically win those matchups. Skylar is a really useful card that I think our team all agrees is excellent in Mega decks where you play Hooper, because it's turn 1, it's an Ultra Ball for Hooper. And also there's a lot of just single parts of the puzzle in this deck that you just need to get at any time, and Skylar will get that for you. We have Olympia. It's a standard switch card in this format. We think it's also good for the healing in this deck because Mega Scizor is quite tanky. So Olympia's cool in here. And in the same vein, Pokemon Center Lady to make the 2-hit KOs from your opponent into 3-hit KOs. So it's essentially like having half a Mega Scizor in a supporter, because you get another attack from it in most situations. And finally we have Ranger. Ranger was a very... it's annoying because we didn't think of this until very last minute, and it's something that should have been obvious. So originally we had Hex in here. Hex so that we can Hex a Giratina, and with that we can knock out, well, we can attack a Giratina, knock off their energies, etc. With Pokemon Ranger, we can do a lot more with this deck instead against Giratina, if that's what we were aiming to be. Hex is obviously useful in other matchups as well, but you'll see why we don't need Hex later on in the deck list. The Pokemon Ranger will basically get rid of the effect of not being able to play any stadiums, and that's what's really important with this in our deck, because then we can play our Silent Lab, which you'll see we play 4 of. Play our Silent Lab, put that down, which means we can attack Giratina and then also knock off their energy. So overall, and then Silent Lab will be in play, and if they can't replace the stadium, then that's in play for the whole game. And we can just keep on hitting Giratinas, and that's not a threat anymore, and it's not a threat either if it doesn't have any energy on. So so we felt Ranger was a very good inclusion in this deck. And then we'll go into Trainer Draw. So as you see, I play 4 VS Seeker, that's standard obviously, and 4 Ultra Ball. We also got 3 Trainer's Mail, 2 Acrobike. So because we do play 4 Silent Lab, Shaman Draw is going to be not as good as it should be in other decks. We do have control over the stadium, so we can get rid of the Silent Lab if we need to draw, which is cool, but a lot of the time you don't really want to remove that Silent Lab because it should be hurting your opponent as much as it's, if not more than it's hurting you. So we've gone for quite a heavy draw engine in the trainer line. So I played 3 Trainer's Mail, 2 Acrobike. Luke and Alex played 4 Trainer's Mail, 2 Acrobike, and got rid of the Shaman from earlier in the Pokemon line. Both are totally fine. I've tended to cut down to 3 Trainer's Mail in all of my decks, because I didn't like Trainer's Mail for Trainer's Mail, and I found that was happening a lot. And the 2 Acrobike just lets you burn through your deck a bit quicker than you would otherwise. We also have 2 Mega Turbo, so a lot of the times you're going to need a Scizor out of nowhere, essentially. Like, you have a Scizor on your bench and you just want to get an attack straight away, and this is the only way to do it really. You could play Max Elixir, but that would mean upping your energy count in your deck, and I don't think it would be as consistent if you had to increase the energy count. Onto the switching cards. So we play one Escape Rope and one Floatstone along with the Olympia. There was originally one Escape Rope on Switch. We found it was nice to just be able to have a switching card you can have in play for the rest of the game, so Floatstone made the cut instead of Switch. Escape Rope's really cool. It lets you gust out things like Fright Night if you don't have Silent Lab down in play, so that you can Mega Evolve, and in general it's just a useful card to have as a switching card. We also play one Enhanced Hammer, so this is just to tighten up the Yveltal and Giratina matchup. So a lot of the time you don't want to have to Lysander the benched Giratina or benched Yveltal EX that they're powering up and hit it, or you just don't have the tools to do so. This is where Enhanced Hammer comes in handy, because you can just reduce the amount of damage on an opponent's board just by playing one Enhanced Hammer, and in combination with Scizor's attack you can actually just get rid of a load of energies with this deck, so that's quite cool. And then we have one of the main reasons we play this deck, and one of the main reasons we decided to play this deck, is the combination of 4 Silent Lab and 3 red card. The only difference that Alex had to this was he played 3 Silent Lab and 1 Parallel City, just to remove things like Hooper and Shaman, and give him a better Rainbow Road and Rayquaza matchup and Gardevoir matchup as well. So the 4 Silent Lab 3 red card is very clutch. So this gives you an out to any deck in the format. So if you are struggling at any point, you happen to go first, you happen to get Silent Lab and red card down, you can just win the game. If you're up against Volcanion, you get that out, their Ultra Balls are now useless. They tend to draw a lot of draw cards in terms of Shamans and Hoopers, rather than actual supporters. If they don't have supporters, then they can't actually draw out of it, and you can just win those unwinnable matchups like that. And that was a crucial part of it. Also, for Silent Lab, it's the best card for this deck. Silent Lab, hands down, is fantastic because A, it gives you access to be able to knock out or hit Giratina at least, and that's a problem. You don't want to have to. It's really annoying having to Hex, because Hex only gives you 1 turn of attack in it, and typically that's not enough because it's got 170 HP. So Silent Lab will let you attack with it multiple times. Yes, they can replace the stadium and lock it in, but as we said earlier, we do play Ranger, and this will allow us to play our own Silent Labs down, so that's why Ranger is so important in this deck. It will help you beat those Giratina matchups. And it's cool because not many Mega decks can Lysander a Giratina and hit it, because usually you'd have to play Lysander and then Hex to hit it just once. And this can not only Lysander and hit it, it can also remove the double dragon energies that are on it, so it's a really cool stadium to have for it. Other reasons to have Silent Lab: Fright Night Yveltal. So Fright Night is the crucial card to have against Mega decks. You want to start with it as soon as possible, because what it does is it negates your Scizor Spirit Links or any Spirit Links that your Mega deck is playing, meaning you have to evolve 1 turn. It gives you another extra 60-60 snipe damage. With this deck, we do not care about Fright Night Yveltal at all. We just get the Silent Lab down, we Mega Evolve, we knock off their DC if they're attacking. If they want to attack, even if we don't knock it out because it has 130 HP and we didn't get the goal back for whatever reason, it's now on 10 damage left, and if you want to attack with Fright Night again, they have to commit another DC to this Fright Night, which means 2 of their DCs are just gone like that, and you might be able to negate that with Pokemon Center Lady. So we are no longer concerned about Fright Night with the 4 Silent Lab. Other reasons to play it: everyone's drawing with Shaman these days. If you go first and get Silent Lab out, even if you don't red card them, sometimes you'll just win the game. Like, even if they Sycamore and they're stuck with the hand they have after the Sycamore, they can't draw any more than that. They can't Ultra Ball to get some more cards. You're really slowing down an opponent's setup with this, and in conjunction with removing their special energies and stadiums, this is just a total denial deck, really. And overall, we're really happy with the list. I think it was a really interesting deck to play. I felt really strong in a lot of matchups. I was very comfortable playing against Yveltal or Dark Tina matchups. I went 5-2 on the day. I lost one of my rounds because of the game loss for my incorrect deck list, which was unfortunately against the Fairy deck. So that's not ideal because you'd be expecting to win those kind of matchups. And the other loss I took was round 2 to Ryan Morehouse, who was playing Volcanion. And do you expect at least one Volcanion matchup, even if you don't think it's going to be that popular? And unfortunately, I couldn't. I think I drew terribly in that set, alongside me playing Scizor into a Volcanion, so there was just no chance that I could win that. I took draws to Yveltal, which I needed one more turn basically to win, which was a shame, but the game was played in the pace of the game was fine. I maybe should have scooped the game I was going to lose earlier, so that's my own fault really. So it's not a reflection, not a fair reflection on the deck. And the other game I drew was to a Dark Tina, and we literally just started game 3. Maybe again I should have scooped game 2 when I saw that I wasn't going to win, but I thought that I always had a chance in that, so I thought I'd keep it going. And because there wasn't much time, I thought maybe I could drag the game long enough so that it wouldn't end, so that me winning game 1 would be enough to win the set, but that wasn't the case in the end, unfortunately, and we finished just before time. So overall, this deck performed really well for me. It beat a lot of decks on the day that would usually maybe you'd consider 50-50, but with the small little things included, made it really favourable matchups. So it especially destroys Gardevoir. Not only do you hit it for weakness, but 4 Silent Lab is painful to deal with, and red card it doesn't appreciate alongside that either. Also, they're hitting you for resistance, and you Centiladian or Olympia in that off, so that's really hard to deal with this deck as Gardevoir. So it's probably worse, a worse matchup than a normal Mega Scizor list. Yveltal and Dark Tina are very even matchups, but I feel like if you pilot this well, you can really swing these 2 matchups in your favour. It's all about Lysander, really. Those matchups, you need to Lysander and hit the Pokemon that they invest energies into, force them to have to basically only get 1 hit off with those Pokemon, or force them to Y-Cyclone, things like that. And if they're Y-Cyclone, then they're not doing as much damage as they can do to you. So I will pilot this deck in a game just to show you what it's about. Unfortunately, the new cards are out, so it won't be a true reflection, but what I will try to do is try and get it to queue up against like a really even matchup like Yveltal or Dark Tina. I'll try and keep on re-rolling the game so I can get that game to showcase just how strong this deck is really. So feel free to tune in for that. Alright, well, this is take 1 of trying to find the decent matchup. We'll see how many takes this does take. And we are up against a dark and colourless deck, so I am pretty happy straight away. I think I've hit Yveltal. If this happens in the first game, I'll be ecstatic, but one of us will probably draw badly, and I'll have to redo it. So this matchup, as I said earlier, will be all about hitting those Lysanders and making light work of his Yveltal EXs, basically. So we see we don't have an ideal opening hand. We're kind of relying on this Trainer's Mail, or I think we're going second, so relying on my opponent to N us. He starts Shaman, so not ideal for him, and he does N us, so good start for us. Hopefully we draw into something better than that. That looks good to me. Looks like we'll have to dump the Yveltal fairly shortly. Looks like we're playing against Zoroark, and he unfortunately has 2 Yveltal EX prizes. That's really unlucky for him. That's going to be very painful. He attaches a Dangerous Energy. Let me just double check what this does. Puts 2 damage counters on. Okay. So we have a fantastic hand here. In fact, I think we take this very slowly. Yeah. I think what we do this turn is we will attach an energy and Skylar for a Spirit Link, and then next turn we will Ultra Ball for the Hooper to kind of go crazy and have a really quick turn. This turn we don't have to really do too much. So we'll Skylar for the Spirit Link. We'll also double check that that Hooper is in the deck. Hooper is in the deck, and we have enough Mega Scizors. We have everything we need, and that sounds good to me. Also, if we top deck a Zubat, that would be fantastic. Or a Hooper, because then we can Ultra Ball for the Zubat, and I don't have to get rid of this Golbat in that case. But we play Super Rod, so even if we get rid of the Golbat, it's not the end of the world. Debating whether to bench this Scizor or not. He could get Fright Knight out of nowhere. If he was to get Fright Knight out of nowhere, the benching the Scizor would be a mistake. But his only supporter that he's played is N, so he's more likely to play N than any other supporter next turn. So I kind of want to get this Scizor down, so we shall do that. And we will Steel Wing for 20. Damage isn't all too important here, but reducing the damage taken by 20 could be nice. So we'll see what our opponent has. Hopefully he can draw out and we can make this an interesting game. He does have the Zoroark. I could have dug for a Silent Lab that turn with Trainer's Mail, but I feel like if I didn't get the Silent Lab, the Trainer's Mail would have been pointless. So I didn't want to just throw away the Trainer's Mail for a small chance of that happening when it wasn't going to change the game too much. And it could be a card that I would Ultra Ball away next turn to get the Hooper. Unfortunately for him, he is drawing terrible. We do get another Trainer's Mail, so I will use one of them for now. So maybe I get a Spirit Link. That would be amazing if I do. Silent Lab, Acrobike, I think we'll take that. Now it's our choice whether we dump the Acrobike or the Trainer's Mail, which would be more useful. I really do want the other Spirit Link, because that will get me 2 Mega Scizors this turn, which would be insane. So I think we'll dig a little bit further with the Trainer's Mail rather than using the Acrobike. And we don't get it. In fact, I don't really want any of these cards. I could red card him, just to try and make this a game, because currently he's not doing anything. But it makes no sense to make suboptimal plays, really. So we'll Ultra Ball. We'll get this Mega Scizor going. No, we'll get the Hooper. Sorry. Definitely Hooper. And with the Hooper, we'll get the Mega Scizor and a Shaman, and probably another basic Scizor. There we go. Alright, and we can set up for 6 here, which is cool. And then if we get the Silent Lab, we've done all the abilities we will need to do, really. So if we get the Silent Lab, we can just play that. We can actually just Lysander KO this Zoroark right now, which is gonna hurt him a lot. I feel really bad about this. And we will Iron Crusher for knockout. We'll take 2 damage from this Dangerous Energy, but he's not really putting any pressure on. I don't need to discard anything there. I don't know if discarding the Dangerous Energy would have actually meant that I didn't take the damage. Maybe I should have looked into that. That would have been interesting. I don't actually know that interaction. Let me have a look at Scizor's attack. Oh, it doesn't matter anyway. Well, we'll jump straight into another match and hope for the best. Okay, thank you for all the rewards, Pokemon. I'd like to play another game, please. Thank you. Hopefully against Dark. We're against probably Theme Deck, fighting Grass Water. Maybe it's Rainbow Road or something like that. We shall see. Rainbow Road will be cool. It's not as one-sided as a matchup as it should seem. Rainbow Road. We'll start Zubat. It's a perfect starter. It evolves to Golbat, which is free retreat, or it's just the one prize Pokemon. So it's definitely the perfect starter. This person's outplayed me. I'll give it one more try on this run. Take one. I don't want to showcase this deck against the Theme Deck because I don't think that would be fair. So, we're again aiming for a Dark deck. If we get against Gardevoir, then we'll just show you just how good this is against Gardevoir, I guess. But that looks like Dark Tina to me. Awesome. Hopefully we both draw well and we can showcase this matchup, even if I don't win. So we're deciding who goes first here. Going first, whilst isn't crucial for this deck loves to go first because of the red card Silent Lab. And even if I was to win a game showcasing how red card Silent Lab can win, that would be fine for me. Right, you expect to mulligan a lot with this deck. I only play 8 basics and Alex and Luke only played 7, so you're going to mulligan a few times. Again, you play red cards, so hopefully it doesn't matter that much most of the time. And there we go, another mulligan. And we have a basic. And hand's looking good. So even if my opponent Hex Maniacs me turn 1, I should be in a decent position. Great. So he starts Oblivion Wing Yveltal, and he goes straight for the parallel on my side of the field. Oblivion Wing Yveltal is not too big of a concern. It's not doing a huge amount of damage to me. And turn 1 I can still wing it for 20. And then turn 2 I can hit it for 120 with my Mega Scizor, meaning we don't have to worry too much about the fact that it's 130 HP, and this is probably likely his only 130 HP Pokemon in his deck, because I personally run one Baby Yveltal as well. So he's going to go ahead and Hooper. Again, you see this is a shame that I didn't go first, but even if I did go first, he would have had the parallel to negate that. He's actually playing Yveltal Tina, which is odd, because I don't see the point of playing Yveltal and Giratina together, especially because Yveltal loves double colourless energy and Giratina loves double dragon energy. Maybe he plays both, but I doubt it because he's playing Max Elixir. So we just go straight ahead and Acrobike. We will discard the Mega Turbo. Oh, choose card to put in your hand, so we'll discard that. See if we can get a Spirit Link. Spirit Link will be cool. We do indeed. We'll go straight for that rather than the Ultra Ball, because Ultra Ball for Hooper doesn't seem very strong with Parallel out in play. So this is the debate. I would love to get my Silent Lab down early, because it means Giratina's not as strong. He's already played one of his stadiums. He played maximum 3 in this kind of deck, so I would be taking the initiative, but this negates the Shamans for the rest of my game, so I need to be careful. Maybe I bend one Shaman just to draw 2 now whilst I can, but there are also a lot of cards that I wouldn't like to draw, so I think I'm just going to go straight for the Silent Lab and Sycamore. If I was to draw Mega Scizor, I'd be in agony. Hopefully we can get another Scizor in play. We do. We also get the Ultra Ball for next turn. Okay. Hand's not ideal. We didn't draw out. So what we'll likely have to do is maybe hope that he gets rid of the stadium with one of his own stadiums. That'd be fantastic. Or we'll have to get rid of it ourselves so that we can draw future turns. But right now, as we stand, we have a Mega Scizor next turn, so we're knocking out this Yveltal, which is cool. Also, we're reducing 20 damage, so he'd have to put on a Fighting Fury Belt to make this awkward. And I don't mind a Fighting Fury Belt coming down on this Yveltal, although it would be his best play. It would be better than on any of its other Pokemon, because I can 2-hit KO any of his other Pokemon. So he's going to go ahead, attach his Double Dragon. If I can get a Lysander next turn, that would be fantastic. Maybe he replaces his stadium for me. That'd be nice. It doesn't look like he's got that much going on. The Silent Lab actually isn't hurting his draw at all. It's only there for the Giratina, really. Does he have... He has one more Dark Energy, so... Alright. He's not threatening me by any means, so we're just going to go straight ahead with this line of play. We'll get rid of the Float Stone and the Mega Turbo. I feel like Mega Turbo is not doing much here. It's a shame that we've had to discard both of them early, but that's how it goes sometimes. You don't always draw in the perfect order. This is where I have to debate getting rid of the stadium or not. It's a hard decision. But I do play 4, so if he was to... I feel like I can do it. I can survive for one more turn. If he's 2-hit KOing my Scizor, I can survive for one more turn for sure. So we'll go with that. We'll just Iron Crusher for knockout. We will not discard the stadium. We'll take a prize. Hopefully the prize is good, and hopefully it means that we don't have to get rid of the stadium. I wouldn't like to. Lysander would have been cool last turn, but Lysander will be cool this turn as well. If he attacks with Yveltal, I will just Lysander that. It looks like he's charging up his Giratina instead. I don't mind that if he decides to attack with that, unless he has a stadium. If he does have a stadium, it lets me draw though, so double-edged sword for him. He does have the stadium, so I need a ranger this turn, basically. I will need to dig for this ranger. He does play another Oblivion Wing, that's interesting, so I'll need to get my Zubat out at this point. I have other lines of play this turn. I could just knock out the Shaman. He's actually not knocking me out in 2 hits with this Giratina as it stands. He would need a Fighting Fury belt. So we have the Silent Lab. That's not the draw we wanted because we wanted to hopefully draw into Ranger. Unfortunately, this means discarding my... See, this is risky because I didn't really pay attention to what was in my prizes, so I could discard the Scizor and guarantee that I have a Shaman next turn, or I could discard the Shaman to draw a Shaman. I think I do not want to lose this game right now, so I'm going to discard the Scizor. If it turns out there's a Shaman in the deck, then so be it, but there was a Shaman in the deck. We'll get the Zubat. That's fine, that will help us later on in the game anyway. And we'll set up for 5 cards. And hopefully we can get this Ranger. That would have been too easy, oh well. Okay. Well, we can take a knockout this turn. It's whether we want to knock out the Shaman or Lysander this Yveltal. So his Yveltal is doing 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 right now. I'm doubting he plays double colourless energy, so he'd need a Fury Belt for that as well. I'm liking the idea of Lysandering the Yveltal and hoping that he doesn't attack next turn so that I can get my tools and things into play. So we'll go for that route. Yes, we will Lysander. Lysander this. I could Lysander this baby Yveltal, but I'm not in a position where I want to do that right now. I want to be hitting the Pokemon with energies on, as I mentioned earlier on. So we'll Iron Crusher. If this survives one more turn, that'd be fantastic. I can get rid of the Parallel now, which we shall do. We don't have any Mega Turbo, so if this does go down, this will be really brutal for us. He does have the Dark. If he has the Fighting Fury Belt, we're in a bit of trouble. That's for sure. Yeah, is gonna Sycamore likely? Yes, he does Sycamore. He gets the Fighting Fury Belt. He attaches it to his Giratina, and I think this is definitely the right play. He pretty much draws everything he needs there. He gets the switch and the retreat, so that's cool. We're gonna pump up the Zubat here for sure. We had another Mega Scizor in deck, so Again, we draw the Silent Lab, which is not ideal. Which means we only have one more left in deck. That is unfortunate. Okay, we will... We just have to play the cards without, really. There's not much else we can do. Shaman's active, so that's cool. Okay, we know what's in our deck. Fortunately, Golbat is prized, or did we discard it early maybe? No, it's prized. It's fine. And we will Sycamore this away. It's a little bit painful, we just need Energy really. We get the Ranger and the Silent Lab in hand. So we have a chance. I'm going to Ultra Ball. I really need a Mega Scizor this turn, but I also need to draw cards. So I'm going to Ultra Ball. I need to get another Metal Energy for next turn. If this hand had Metal Energy, and this would be amazing. We're going to get rid of the Center Lady, and the red card seems fair here, even though he has a lot of cards. Now we get rid of the Trainer's Mail. And we'll get the Shaman. We kind of have to take a risk here. We don't have another Ultra Ball, so we're pretty much only hoping to draw Mega Scizor, and anything else would be a dud. We could draw... Ranger next turn will allow us to play the Spirit Links, so that's kind of an out as well. Yeah, we have to draw here. We'll play the red card. Hopefully it does some fun stuff for him. And we are hoping for a Metal Energy and a Mega Scizor, please. That is not it, unfortunately. Right. I'm trying to think what Trainer's Mail could get us, but I think the only card it could get us is Acrobike. That could draw into Mega Scizor, and we can do that next turn after the Ranger anyway. But we'll play it. We'll see it now. Enhanced Hammer's cool. We'll actually play that now and hope that the red card did some work to him. Ideally you'd want to use Enhanced Hammer and Scissors attack in the same turn, but we don't have that luxury right now. So he does have the Trainer's Mail, so there's an out to draw in badly. He does play a third Stadium. I don't mind him playing it here. It's just another Stadium he can't counter Stadium me with. And he has a Sycamore in hand, so he's drawn pretty well off that red card, not gonna lie. He plays 2 Hoover. Interesting. See if he gets a double dragon. If he doesn't get the double dragon, we're in a fantastic position. Because we'll be able to dig for the Mega Scizor. We'll be able to attach the Spirit Link, do all sorts of fun stuff there. Oh, he only has a dark. That's cool. Awesome, we have a chance. Alright. We shall go for it then. Silent Lab down. And he should be out of stadiums by now. Do I play the red card? He has 10 cards in deck. Yeah, let's play it. Why not? Let's have some fun. And we shall Sycamore. We have odds on to draw this. We only have 12 cards in deck, so if we were to miss, I'd be quite sad. Unfortunately, we can't retreat. I just noticed that right now, but We have Floatstone in deck, I believe, too. Ooh, that's a nice hand, isn't it, guys? Right. Well then. It's not the end of the world. Okay, we don't have that available to us. That's rather frustrating. We pretty much need to top deck Mega Scizor next turn. He can attack us here, but that's not the end of the world. This is just a one prize Pokemon. He can Lysander. That's fine as well by me. I don't mind that at all. I will actually promote the Zubat here because I can just manually retreat if necessary. Thank God for that. I haven't drawn my N yet either. N would be pretty clutch right about now. So we will attach and retreat. Tempted to use the Skylar just to thin it from my hand. I don't think there's anything in my deck that I need in particular. Not sure if Super Rod's prized, but if Super Rod is prized, I'd quite like. It isn't prized, I'd quite like that now. So I might just Skylar on the off chance that is there. Otherwise, it's not doing much for me anyway. Super Rod is in there. We'll take the Super Rod and dump some stuff back in now. He's saying well played already, because he's got the Lysander in hand. Little does he know. I have the red card. So hopefully that does a number on him. And we'll Iron Crusher and discard the double Dragon Energy. Right now he needs a double Dragon Energy and the Lysander via Seeker. And it looks like he drew it. There's the double dragon. And there's the VS Seeker. Must be nice. Fair dues. So, I think we'll leave it at that. I think it showcased the deck. I think I did get rather unlucky in that game. And my opponent drew fairly well from a lot of those things. But it does kind of showcase the kind of thought process you have to make when playing against these matchups. A lot of the times they won't draw those things like being able to retreat the Yveltal for free and have a Fury Belt to knock out the Mega Scizor that turn. That was a huge swing turn. If he didn't have that, then I'd still have a 10 HP Mega Scizor basically, and I'd be able to knock off the double Dragon Energy. Things like if I'd managed to just even draw into my Ranger earlier on in the game so that I could VS Secret for it later on. Just small things like that. These can swing in the games, and if things do line up for you well in a game, then you'll be able to actually take those matchups a lot easier. I still feel like even though that was I only took one prize, I feel like that was a very close game in which if I had some draws that went in my way, then I would have probably been taking that game because Mega Scizor can basically put a lock on a lot of matchups like that. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully we'll be able to bring another deck analysis soon. We'll be recording these kind of things a lot more frequently now. I have my own room now, I have a desk, I have all this kind of recording setup going now, and that makes it a lot easier to do. And we also have good internet, which means we can upload a bit more frequently. Also, with Dortmund coming up in 2 weeks' time, Dortmund Regionals, hopefully we'll think of something really cool again for that. I think deck definitely showed the creative side of our team, which is cool. And hopefully we can just think of something cool to play for that, and we can showcase another successful tournament review for that. So I'll see you shortly. Hopefully we have another deck building analysis to come later on, either later this week or early next week. So I'll see you then. Thank you a lot for watching.